Hey guys, so what is Bitcoin and why will it continue to always go up in value? Now, first off, this isn't financial advice. I obviously own Bitcoin. A lot of people own Bitcoin. It's the oldest and first digital currency ever created. It was created as almost a safe haven from government currencies and inflation and regulation, things like that. It's been hated on by a lot of governments because it's private, but cash is more private than Bitcoin because Bitcoin at least keeps a history. Although those wallet addresses aren't necessarily tied to someone, once you know who they are, then yes, you can track someone's history. But until you tie someone to an address, it is anonymous. But it does have a history, and so if your wallet address ever becomes known, then your entire history is visible to anyone who wants to look it up. But the idea of it being anonymous, I think, scares off a lot of these governments. People they're fearful of the unknown. So what is it, and how do we take advantage of this potentially? So this is the website for Bitcoin. This website was created in late 2008. Bitcoin is an open source project, meaning anyone can contribute to it. In fact, MIT contributes to it regularly. It was first created as a payment processing system. You could transfer money. You could send money across borders extremely quickly for almost next to nothing. As Bitcoin adoption grew, that next to nothing cost grew as well. And now it's no longer feasible for small transactions. It's still extremely feasible for large transactions. You can send millions of dollars across borders for, $10 or something like that. But if you're going to buy a burrito, it doesn't make sense to pay $10 on a transaction fee to buy a burrito. Along came the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network is fixing that problem, and they're currently testing out the solution in the country of El Salvador. So the Lightning Network allows for scalability and low-cost transactions with instant payments, which are the three things that Bitcoin was lacking. So now you can buy that burrito and pay less than a penny in a transaction fee and have it done in seconds, just like you would with a credit card. So here we are at the Shyvo Wallet. Shyvo Wallet is El Salvador's government app. So the government actually owns this app, and so you can buy Bitcoin at ATMs in El Salvador, and you can spend it. It is the first country to call Bitcoin legal tender. You can literally legally spend it as the country's tender, which is awesome. That there's a country taking that step forward. This could easily be a way for a third world country to become a first world country overnight just by adopting cryptocurrency that these first world countries are hesitant to adopt. Currently, a lot of the first world countries are looking at regulating it, not necessarily adopting it. They're just kind of hesitant on what it is. They're fearful of it, but it's coming a long way. And you can see what happened to the history of Bitcoin. So let's look at kind of the history. Back in 2013, it was $100. Late 2013, it actually popped, and it grew over 1,000. So we had a tenfold explosion then. In 2017 is when we started to see institutions get into it. We started seeing futures trading, people trading with leverage, and so we had another, actually a 20x explosion that occurred here. And then currently we're seeing another big explosion. We're up about 5x on the year with 500%. Plenty of room to grow, especially in this current little cycle. A lot of people think it's going to cross 200 grand. This current cycle is now sitting at about a little over $60,000. So why does the value keep going up? Well, it's a finite resource. Unlike the dollar, you can't just print it. No one controls it, so it's a deregulated currency. It is minted, but very slowly, and over time that minting slows down. It has a maximum supply of 21 million Bitcoin. We're currently sitting at almost 19 million, and almost 90% of the total supply. So every time a ledger is transferred and the block is secured, a little bit of Bitcoin is created and given to those miners as a reward for verifying the transactions. So that's kind of how it works, little basics of it. But yeah, as far as its original purpose of transferring money. They're still trying to work that out with the Lightning Network, but in the meantime, a ton of other projects have come along that fix this problem, that are essentially a better software, and they're competing to be the next Bitcoin. I don't think there'll ever be something that beats Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin will always stay number one. It is now considered the digital gold. It is your safe haven from inflation. When the government prints trillions of dollars, obviously the dollar inflates. Stock market went up 40%. The real estate market went up 25%. Everyone's rent went up. The home prices went up. Our property taxes went up. If you didn't make more money, then you actually lost because of inflation. Whereas with Bitcoin, you don't really have to make more. You just get what you got. It goes up in value because everything else around it is inflating, and it's not. So it's got some interesting potential behind it. And there's a lot going on in the ecosystem. Now we're starting to see gaming. We're seeing smart contracts. It's created this multi-trillion-dollar ecosystem, which is a big reason why it could never go to zero. The amount of money in this, for it to have to go down that far, so many people would have to get out. And there's just so many people that aren't moving it. They're staking it. They're earning interest on it. There is banking going on. You can borrow money, earn interest, way better than your typical bank would. It's giving you like 1%. I mean, I literally can earn 100,000 APY on some high-risk currency if I wanted to. In fact, there's other videos I've created about that. If you want to subscribe, smash the like button, check it out. You're starting to see it everywhere. So Flexa is the largest digital currency payment processing system. So if you're a store and you want to accept cryptocurrency, you can go hook up with Flexa. They're at 41,000 locations in the US and Canada. And so you can accept digital currency as payment, which is pretty neat. So there's a lot going on in the world with Bitcoin. Do a little research on it. If you're worried about getting in the hard way, you can buy essentially Bitcoin in the stock market. Just GBTC is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. So you can buy into a trust that's buying Bitcoin, holding it, securing it for you, so you don't have to worry about security as much. You can buy into companies that mine it. So there's a lot of cool things you can do, and this is just scratching the surface. So few people own Bitcoin. Once the majority of the population owns it, the value of it is just going to be astronomical. So start looking at it, if not for your sake, for your kids' sake.